Some people inherit money. Others inherit land. I inherited peace. A remote cabin tucked beside Stillwater Lake, passed down from my grandfather who hand-built it in the 60s. No roads led to it, no power lines, just the dock, a fire pit, and a view so still it looked painted. When life in the city crushed me, corporate layoffs, fake friends, concrete everywhere, I came back to the cabin. Fixed it up, reinforced the dock, built solar panels, made it mine again. But I didn't realize until summer hit, I had new neighbors. Or rather, an HOA. And their queen? Karen Somersby, president of the Lakeshore Preserve Homeowners Association. She had a clipboard, a fake smile, and a terrifying sense of control over everything she saw. The first time Karen came over, she wore a sun hat the size of a beach umbrella. "I just wanted to welcome you to the community," she said, sipping from a reusable wine tumbler. "We've been keeping an eye on your property." That was her way of saying, "We've been snooping." She told me how this part of the lake is under HOA oversight now, and how unused cabins should be made available for the community. I blinked. Wait, available for what? "Oh, you know, kayak storage, holiday gatherings, yoga brunches." She smiled wider. "If you're not using it all the time, we'd love to have access." That's when the first red flag exploded in my face. "Karen, this cabin's not part of your HOA. It predates it by 40 years. It's not under your jurisdiction." Her smile wavered. "We'll see about that." Weeks passed. I stayed quiet, kept to myself. Fished, worked on my woodshop projects, minded my business. Then, one weekend, I pulled up to the dock and found strangers partying on my land. Red Solo cups, loud music, kids swimming. Someone even hung a hammock between two trees I planted. I parked my canoe and stormed up. "Who are you people?" A guy in board shorts shrugged. "Karen said we could use the place, said it was just empty land." I looked around. They had a cooler, a Bluetooth speaker, and were using my firewood. I pointed at the dock. "Off, now. This is private property." They didn't argue. They just grumbled, packed, and left. But before they did, one woman muttered, "Karen's gonna hear about this." Good. That night, I got a knock on the cabin door. Karen. Hair perfectly curled, HOA name badge pinned to her linen blouse. "You embarrassed guests of the HOA. That's a violation." A violation of what? My own rights? She handed me a letter. A formal HOA citation, claiming I was denying recreational access to designated community property. I laughed out loud. "This property's deeded to me. It's not in your subdivision, not under your governance. I have survey maps, county records, and a signed exemption form." She tried to peer inside the cabin. "Are you harboring dangerous materials, wild animals?" I slammed the door. 2 days later, I heard sirens. Not common around Stillwater Lake. I walked to the end of my drive and saw 2 sheriff's deputies and Karen, arms crossed like she was hosting a town hall. "Sir," the deputy began, We received a call about suspicious activity, illegal occupancy, and unsafe structures on this parcel. Karen chimed in. He's denying access to community land. This entire shoreline is part of Lakeshore Preserve, HOA. I have the committee bylaws. I handed the officer my folder. Deed to the land, signed 1967. Exemption notice from county zoning. Survey map showing Karen's HOA boundary stops 200 feet east of my dock. The deputy reviewed it, nodded, looked at Karen. Ma'am, this land isn't under HOA jurisdiction. You have no authority here. Her mouth dropped. But he wouldn't let us kayak here? Because it's his lakefront, the officer said. She went silent, for once. A week later, someone cut the lock on my dock gate. My fishing boat was tampered with. I found beer cans and footprints again. I installed motion-activated cameras, ran power through my solar panels, let them record everything. Next weekend, more trespassers. This time, I didn't yell. I downloaded the footage, caught Karen walking the shoreline, waving people in like a tour guide. I smiled. Time for a new plan. I called my lawyer, Milo Sanchez, a retired land use attorney who once sued the state and won. We filed a cease and desist against Karen and the HOA for trespassing, property interference, harassment, false claims of governance. Then I called the county clerk and asked for a formal land dispute hearing. They agreed. Public record, open hearing. And I invited everyone. Karen showed up with her HOA board, clipboard warriors and pastel polos. I came with video footage, maps, copies of the deed, and Milo in a bolo tie and a grin. We played the clips. Karen directing strangers onto my land, her saying, "It's just unused space," her handing out printed HOA guest access passes she made herself. The clerk stared in disbelief. This land has been exempt since 1983. Any further HOA action against Mr. Harper will be considered civil harassment. Karen tried to object. "But people deserve to enjoy the lake." The clerk shut her down. "You don't get to take what doesn't belong to you." Turns out, Karen had overstepped with others too. After my hearing went public, 3 other homeowners came forward with complaints. She fined a couple $250 for using the wrong shade of mulch, tried to ban wind chimes, called CPS on a family for excessive backyard laughter. The HOA board voted her out unanimously. One neighbor recorded it, captioned, "Karen got evicted from her own HOA throne." Over 3 million views in 2 days. The gate stayed locked, my camera stayed live. And the new HOA president? A retired librarian named Mrs. Langley, who sent me cookies and a thank you card. Now when I go to the lake, I sip coffee on the dock, dog curled at my feet, and watch peace ripple across the water. No more trespassers. No more wine tumblers. No more HOA threats. Just birds, sunlight, and one very important lesson. If someone tries to steal your land, your space, your peace, don't scream. Don't fight. Just own the deed, record the proof, and watch the lies fall apart. Because Karen may have brought the cops, but I brought the truth. About a month after the HOA debacle, I heard tires on gravel while chopping firewood behind the cabin. Same sheriff's cruiser, same deputy. But this time, he wasn't here for trouble. "Hey, Mr. Harper," he said, stepping out. "Just wanted to let you know." He handed me a thick envelope. Karen pled guilty to filing a false nuisance report. Fined, banned from any HOA board in the county. Community service, too. I flipped open the documents and blinked. One of her community service assignments? Cleaning up lakefront trails, right along the water she once tried to claim. Poetic? Didn't even cover it. Summer turned to fall. The trees blazed orange and red. The lake stilled. And I started carving a new wooden sign for the dock. It read, Harper's Landing. Private, peaceful, permanent. I sealed it with varnish, nailed it to the dock, and finally felt something I hadn't felt in years. Safe. No more trespassers, no more HOA letters. Just the crackle of the fire, the sound of the loons at dusk, and the quiet knowledge that no one could take this from me. One morning, tucked inside my mailbox behind a pile of fishing catalogs, I found a pale blue envelope with loopy cursive handwriting. It was from Karen's daughter, Emily. She'd found out about the entire incident through viral clips, through the court filings, through her own quiet conversations with her mom. The letter read, I'm sorry. I don't agree with what she did. She let power and ego take over. I just wanted you to know she wasn't always like this. I remember when she used to bring me to the lake as a little girl. She loved it here. But somewhere along the way, she started thinking it belonged to her. At the end, she wrote, Thank you for protecting the peace she forgot how to respect. I folded the letter, placed it inside the cabin's photo album next to a picture of my grandfather, and smiled. A friend of mine, a documentary filmmaker, visited the cabin to shoot a short piece about modern land disputes and rural gentrification. He filmed me telling the story by the fire, sipping coffee with the lake behind me. He titled it, The Cabin That Said No to Karen. It got 5 million views in a week. Comments poured in. This is why you record everything. HOAs be wildin'. Justice served with lake views. Grandpa Harper would be proud. The final shot? Me nailing that wood sign into place while a soft acoustic guitar played. Late fall, just before the first snow, I heard a single knock at the cabin door. It was Mrs. Langley, the new HOA president, holding a gift basket of apple butter, handmade candles, and a folded paper. I figured you'd want this, she said. It was the official updated HOA boundary map, signed and certified, with one small note handwritten in the margin. Cabin lot legally and forever exempt. She winked. We don't mess with mountain folk anymore. Some people fight wars in boardrooms, some in courtrooms. Mine was fought in whispers on the lake, with deeds and drone footage, quiet facts, and calm defiance. I didn't yell, I didn't threaten, I just outlasted. And in the end, the land held the truth, the law recognized it, and everyone else? They just watched the show unfold. So next time someone in a pastel polo points at your property and says, this belongs to us, just smile and say, really? Then I suggest you call the sheriff, because you're standing on mine.